You said it yourself. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love that line. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're actually talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, the first film from 2014. Why? Because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is finally coming out this May. At the time I am recording this, we're like the second, third week of April, so we're close to May. We're close to the Guardians 3, but I have no idea when I'm going to get this out and published, because I seem to record them and get them published like a month later, because, you know, I just take that long. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this movie because I was able to find time to rewatch it and remember just how much I love this movie. It's one of my favorite MCU movies, and it made the Guardians one of my favorite superhero teams. So yeah, let's just, I don't know where to get started. I didn't write notes for this because I didn't feel like it, because I just wanted to watch the movie, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make a video talk about it, building up to Guardians 3, hopefully. Alright, I just want to start off, let's just start off with the Guardians and themselves. They made me love every single Guardian. Star-Lord, played by Chris Pratt, I loved him. I thought he was hilarious, but he also brought a lot of the emotion to this film with him and his mother, and I just really enjoyed his character. I love the fact that he loves music, and he's got great taste in music. Well, technically his mother did, but still, he took up that love of music. Gamora was a character I thought was awesome. She was just so cool. She has some of the best action in the movie. Like, her action scenes are so epic, and she is a compelling character because of the fact that she's the daughter of Thanos, and she's trying to break away from this with Thanos and the Ronan. So that was very cool and compelling. Drax is just fun. He's just so fun. I laugh every time he's on screen. I love how literal he takes everything. Like, with the metaphors go over his head, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it, among many others. Like the whole, like, when Star-Lord does the put your finger on his throat, and he's like, why would I put my finger on his throat? And he's like, no, this means you're gonna slice his throat. I don't want to slice his throat. I want to cut it clean off. No, it just means killing, man. It means to kill someone. That was awesome. Rocket is another character that I just love. He's the best. He's an adorable trash panda. I mean, he's an epic raccoon. I mean, he's a great person. Yeah. I just love him. He has great lines. I love when he gets a gun. It's just the best. And Groot. Oh my gosh, guys, he is Groot. Like, what else is there to say about Groot? I love him. He's the best. But yeah, I love all the Guardians. Now, the villain in this movie is kind of weak. Ronan is one of the weakest villains, I think, in the MCU, which is a shame, because I feel like they could, like, I think the actor does a good job at making the character menacing, and he is, like, very murderous, and he can be menacing at times, but, like, I feel like they didn't do the best job at building him up. Like, it's just, he wants to eliminate all the Nova Corps. He wants to destroy Xandar. To me, it's just like, I don't know, why does he want to do this? Just because he believes in the old ways? Why would he believe in the old ways? I don't know. He's one of the weaker villains, but I don't mind him. Like, a lot of people are like, that's like the big downfall of this movie. That's why this movie is as good as it could be, because of the villain. To me, I don't care, because of how much we are focusing on the Guardians and all 5 of their stories. Like, the fact that this is one of the perfect examples of how to do a team movie while introducing 5 characters in one movie. Like, even the Avengers, all of them except for Black Widow and Hawkeye, but even then they appeared in movies before the Avengers, they each had their own solo film before teaming up. This, we didn't get a Star-Lord movie, and then a Gamora movie, then a Rocket and Groot movie, and then a Drax movie, and then we got Guardians of the Galaxy. No, we just got Guardians of the Galaxy. And then no other solo, none of these guys had solo appearances. The closest we get is Endgame with Rocket, and even that's a huge crossover, and he's practically with the Avengers. But yeah, so I don't mind that as much as some people do. So I thought, so he was, he was okay. And I also think that the story itself is just a really enjoyable story. Like I said, the whole stuff with Peter and his mother, the movie starts off just by punching you in the gut. It's like, this movie just starts and it's like, boom, right in the gut. Why? It just started off with killing off his mom, which I can't not watch without I can't watch it without tearing up. It's like impossible. I've tried. Every time I rewatch it, oh my goodness, the first time I saw it though, oh my gosh, that was, ugh. But yeah, seeing it, rewatching it, I'm like, I'm not gonna tear up this time. I'm not gonna do it. I know what's gonna happen. I know what happens. I'm not gonna tear up. I was wrong. I was wrong. But yeah, that's just so great, and even the ending gets a little emotional too. Like, I love how his mom passed the music down to him, and it gives, not only is the soundtrack on its own just a great soundtrack, but it also it's not like there's a lot of movies that have soundtracks that, even good soundtracks, are kind of just there. They're kind of just there. This one implements it into the story, which I think is great without being a musical. Like, it's I don't know how to explain it. Like, a lot of movies, they either have a soundtrack great or terrible. There's both. But it doesn't really have any effect on the story. Like, if they change the music, it wouldn't really change the story that much. I mean, it might change the atmosphere of that scene, but it doesn't change the actual specific story. And whenever it does have an impact on the story, it's normally a musical where there's a dance number and the person themselves are singing it. This is one of the few movies that has it a part of the story without it being a musical. So the music feels important, and the music feels important without being a musical, while also having just great song choices. Not only are all the songs bangers, but also they make sense for the scene that they're in. So that's just great. Like, one of the greatest movie soundtracks we've gotten. James Gunn, I guess he's just got great taste in music, I guess. I don't know. Especially because a lot of these songs, this is the first time I've heard some of them. So, but yeah, let's move on. We all know the soundtrack's great. That's common knowledge at this point. What else is there to talk about? Well, let's actually, I'm gonna stick on music because I think the score of this movie is amazing. Like the da 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 da. I think it's just so awesome. It gets stuck in my head after watching the movie, and like some scenes they played in just makes the scene more powerful. Like, especially the ending scene, which I think I'm just gonna talk about it on its own. That ending scene is just so powerful, and it makes it feel full circle with the beginning of the movie too. Because like the movie starts off with his mom being like, "Take my hand, Peter." He doesn't. She passes away, and now in this scene, Gamora does it. He sees his mother, but this time he actually takes her hand. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that scene makes me tear up every time too. No one's even dying. I mean, technically, all of them are dying, but none of them actually die. Which that scene just makes me so emotional every time. He's holding on to it. He's dying. We get that scene where Gamora's like, "Take my hand, Peter." He sees his mom. He takes her hand. That makes me start tearing up. And then we see Drax, and then we see Rocket. It's just, my gosh, this movie. And then, in case you didn't cry enough, here's another emotional scene that I'm surprised they pulled off, was Groot's death. Like, again, seeing this in the theaters was, my gosh, yeah. And on rewatch, I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. We're gonna see his kid anyway, so in a way, he's kind of not dead, right? Seeing the same actor. No, it's still emotional. It's just, ugh. Why, James Gunn? Why do you like ripping my heart out and stomping on it? And I know it's gonna happen with Guardians 3, which is why I'm so nervous for that movie, honestly. That's gonna be so emotional. Such a tearjerker. I already know it. But back to this movie. One of the reasons why I love this movie so much, too, is because of the fact that it's that emotional. But it's so funny. There are some scenes that are just hilarious. There's some lines of dialogue that's hilarious. There's some actions that's hilarious. Like I said, Drax is just a funny character. I love it when Groot has like these scenes where like he does something super violent. You're like, whoa, and he just looks at you with like the sweetest, cutest smile. He's like, aw, like the scene when they're towards the final battle. He like stabs a whole bunch of guys, and then he slams them against each other, and then he looks back at Star-Lord and Drax, and Star-Lord's just looking there like, that was intense. And then Groot gives the sweetest smile, like, yeah. And then Drax just looks at Star-Lord and shakes his head like, yeah. It's just, I love it so much. I love it. It's just so great. Oh my gosh, I love this movie. It's just, this is one of the films, too, that I saw this one in theater, so I saw the first two Guardians in theaters, definitely plan on seeing the third one in theaters, unless something were to come up. Knock on wood. But, yeah, so, I just love this movie because of the fact that it's just, it starts off with a gut punch, and then you just laugh so hard, and then you get punched in the gut again, and then you laugh, and then it's just like punch in the gut again, and then you're smiling at the end. Like, it's one of those like movies that's like an emotional roller coaster. You laugh, you cry, then you laugh, then you cry, then you laugh, then you cry, then you smile, and then you say, "Give me the next movie." It's just, that's one of the reasons why I love this movie so much. So I'm not sure if I have much else to say about this movie, just because I pretty much said everything I wanted to say, and I would like this to say a little bit on the shorter side. But I don't know. That's why I think this movie just works so well. It's the mix of emotion and comedy. One of the best examples of it, because especially like some of the MCU movies nowadays, Thor: Love and Thunder, just goes too overboard on the comedy. However, a lot of people are like, get rid of the comedy. It's just ruining MCU movies. No, don't get rid of the comedy. But they have to learn that some projects don't need as much. I don't know how to explain. Like, I don't think the next MCU movie should just be like dark, depressing, and no comedy. Guardians is one of the better examples, Source of Anywhere in Endgame, of mixing comedy and emotion, like strong emotion. So far, everything Guardians related is a bit of both. So yeah, but yeah, I love this movie so much. If we were back in 2014. I will be telling you to go see this movie in theaters as soon as possible, because it's just so great. I remember it got me so excited too with the Thanos teases, because this is like the first time we really see Thanos, I believe. This is like the first time he actually gets dialogue, because like in the end credit scene for the first Avengers film, you see him, he looks back at you and he smiles, but this is the one where he actually has dialogue. And even though this movie is very much contained, like it's very much a Guardians of the Galaxy story, it still has huge ramifications on the MCU's overall Infinity Saga storyline, because of the fact that it introduces the Power Stone. It really gives us a proper introduction to Thanos. It introduces us to Gamora, daughter of Thanos. We get just a taste a little bit, like we know that Thanos wants this orb, and when we learn it's Infinity Stone, that's why he wants the orb. That makes sense. If you know his comic book roots, that makes sense why he wants that. So it's just like, it gets you so stoked. I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about Nebula and Yondu as well. I think Nebula is such a great character too. I love her character arc throughout the entire MCU, and this is the beginning of it. We see her as this full-on villain, and she has this amazing transformation throughout the next couple movies. So I really liked her character in this. Well, I like her character overall because I love her character arc, but this is the beginning of it, and it's awesome. And I also really like Yondu. He does get better, I think, in the second movie, but he also has a pretty good arc, and he's a fun, enjoyable character in this movie too, who gets some great lines. And yeah, so I love both these two characters. I can't believe I almost forgot to mention them. Sorry, Nebula and Yondu. Yeah, so I love this movie. I think it's great. But what do you guys think of this movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know how you hate this movie, but some people probably do. But that's okay. Or maybe you just thought it wasn't okay film. I would love to hear what you think about this movie down in the comments below. Are you excited for Guardians 3? I am so stoked for it. Yeah, I'm hoping to do a review for Guardians 2. I just want to talk about it a little bit before we get to Guardians 3. So yeah, thanks so much for taking time to watch. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please start hitting the subscribe button. And that way you can keep up with all my reviews, like what I review 2 and 3. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.